Hey, it's Will Elwood here, and in this video, I'm talking about what I wish I knew about anxiety. So, in my late teens, I started to develop social anxiety and I was having panic attacks. Growing up, I was always pretty calm, always pretty confident. So, this was a huge shock to the system. I can happily say that nowadays, although there's times I feel anxious, like everybody, it's under control and the anxiety no longer stops me from living the life that I want. This is what I wish I knew. So I would avoid certain situations. I had this weird thing where I hated going to a supermarket and bumping into somebody who I knew. Now, growing up, this was never a problem, but while I was living with anxiety, this was like the worst case scenario for me to be in a supermarket or any public place, to see somebody who I know and to strike up a conversation. I think the fear was me looking stupid, not knowing what to say. I'm not really sure, but I just had this huge fear about this. So, what I did for a long time was avoid supermarkets and avoid situations where I would be caught off guard. What I now know about anxiety is any time that we avoid a situation which scares us, that we are afraid of, unconsciously we assume that it must be dangerous. Think about that. Every time that we avoid a scary situation, we unconsciously assume that the situation is dangerous. In reality, if I bumped into somebody and got my words mixed up and my tongue twisted, it would be a bit embarrassing, but I would get over it. I think this happened once or twice, which is why this fear started, but it wasn't dangerous. However, every time that I avoided the supermarkets and avoided these situations, the harder it got for me to put myself in those situations. That fear grew and grew and grew, but I was the one who was feeding it. So if you're watching this and you have phobias, if you're watching this and there are certain situations that scare you, you have to know this: face them. It may be terrifying, but start to face them. And if that means taking a really small step, so what I would do, for example, is just go into the supermarket for a minute, and the next day 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It may be a really small step, but you have to start facing your fear. You have to start conditioning yourself to realize that, yeah, situations are scary, but you can survive it. And you will not know that you can survive it unless you put yourself in those situations. So if you're watching this and you have phobias or you live with anxiety, ask yourself, what's a situation where you can become 5% braver? Jordan Peterson says that we don't become less afraid, we become braver. And this really rings true, this really feels true for me. And I wonder how that is for you. How can you be 5% more braver this week? What situations can you put yourself in so that you can survive them and so that you can feel better? Thanks for watching this. I'll see you soon. Bye.